This is Mrs. Shopper coming with more information. Hey, mathematicians, this is Mrs. Shopper coming with some more information about lines of best fit and how they relate to scatter plots and how we can write linear equations of them. So, isn't that super duper exciting? All right, so a line of best fit is a trend line. All right, so when you have some data on a scatter plot, you plot it all out, you draw a line through it, and that tells you the trend line, that tells you the general direction our data is going to go. All right. So when you draw your line of best fit, you put it through your data. It might go through some of the data points. It might not go through any of the data points. It might go through all the data points. That doesn't matter. You want it to go through the center part of your data. All right. Then from there, this is the super cool, exciting adventure part of it is you can then write the equation of the line. Like, super cool. So you find 2 points on that line, and then you can find your slope by using your y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And then you can solve for b and you can get your equation. Super cool. So I'm going to walk you through some examples. All right. So here we go. This is talking about computer sharing at Maria's school. So this is the year since 2000. So it's a little bit old, but nonetheless, we'll get the picture. And it's the number of students per computer. So think about it right now. You're on a 1-to-1. Like, that's super cool. But you know, 20 years ago, you'd get like one computer for like 40 kids. So cool. So right now, what we're doing is we're really talking about that data. So I'm going to try to draw a data point, a line. So if I draw this line, that's really not a good line of best fit. It's not going through the center part of my data. If I draw a line like this, that's not really following the trend. All right. So let's try, let me see if I can get one in a little bit better. All right. That kind of seems to go through my data points. All right. So it's kind of, I got some on one side, some on the other, but it tends to follow a trend. Okay. So this is a negative correlation. Then what I need to do is find 2 points on my line. And the 2 points I'm going to find are going to be these two. I've got this ordered pair and this ordered pair. All right. And I'm picking those because they're on the corners. Okay. Notice how neither one of them is actually like a point on that line. Like, neither one of them is actually a data point that's in there. And that's totally fine. So the 2 points that I'm going to use are going to be 230. You see that okay? Yep. And then 510. So these are going to be my 2 points. These are my two ordered pairs. So I need to write an equation in slope intercept form. So in order to do that, I'm going to utilize the slope formula first. So I'll bring that over here, right? So I need to find the slope of this line. So the slope of this line is going to be 10 minus 30 over 5 minus 2. So negative 20 over negative 3 is going to be 20 thirds. I made a mistake. This is not negative 3. That's just regular 3. And this will be 20 thirds. So that's going to be the slope of my line. Now what I need to do is find the b value. All right. So I have my m, I have my x, and I have my y. So I'm going to say that 30 equals my slope, which is negative 20 thirds, times x plus b. And I'm working on solving that equation. This is what we're pulling from our last unit, how to write an equation in slope-intercept form given 2 points. So then I've got 30 is equal to negative 40 thirds plus b, and I'm going to add 40 thirds to both sides. So 40 thirds is really 13 and 1/3. 40 thirds is equal to 13 and 1/3. So 13 and a third plus 30 is 39 and 1/3. That's my b value. All right. So I'm going to take all this work and I'm going to shrink it. So I have some room. I'll put it over. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to probably put it right where should I put it? I'll just move it over here a little bit. There. So then my equation is going to be y equals negative 20 thirds x plus 39 and a third. That's the equation written in slope-intercept form. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, kiddos. When you create your line of best fit, we're human. And so we will draw them generally a little bit different. We're not robots. We don't do the exact same thing. There'll be a little bit of difference. And so when you write your equation, and what I'm going to be looking for is not so much that it's exactly what I have, but that it's really close to what I have. So negative 20 thirds will be my slope, but that's like negative 7 and a third, or 6 and 2/3 rather. So I'm going to be looking for negative 6 to 7, right? So there's going to be some variance. Same with the slope with the y-intercept. Okay. Same with the y-intercept. All right. Let's take a look at, all right, let's take a look at standard form. So what I have here is y equals negative 20 thirds times x plus 39 and 1/3. I'm going to add 20 thirds x to both sides because I need to get my x and y together. So I have 20 thirds x plus y equals 39 and 1/3. Now, when I have something in standard form, it can't be fractions. So what I'm going to do is multiply everything by 3. And when I do that, I get 20x plus 3y and 39 thirds. I'm going to put my calculator on this one. I don't quite know this one in my head. I know, crazy, isn't it? It's going to be 118. So I took 39 and a third times 3, and I got 118. And this is my answer. All right. So this is what we're going to practice. I'll do a couple more, and then you're going to get time to work on it. Okay. So here we go. Here's the next one. We're looking at the degrees in Celsius. And remember, with these Edpuzzles, you can pause, go back and play, do what you need to do to get what you need. Okay. So, all right, here we go. So I'm going to draw my line of best fit. Kind of like that. That looks all right. Okay. I'm going to pick 2 points on my line. So I'm going to go with a different color. I'm going to pick this point and this point. All right. So my 2 points are 6,300 and 14,600. Now we have to write our equation in slope-intercept form. And again, in slope-intercept form, I need to know the slope and the y-intercept. So I'm going to figure out my slope first. So 600 minus 300 over 14 minus 6 is 300 over 8, which comes out to be 37.5, right? And then what I'm going to do is figure out my b. So 300 is my y, my m is 37.5, my x is 6, plus b. So 300 is equal to 225. Ooh, not that many twos. 225 plus b. So 75 equals b. So my slope-intercept form is y equals 37.5x plus 75. And here we go. And then now we're going to be translating it in a standard form. So as we're going through this, mathematicians, I want you to be thinking about how this relates to work we've been doing throughout the year. A lot of it is building blocks from earlier this year. It's from last quarter. We're really working on pulling this all together to really have you see the big picture of all the work that we've been doing. All right, here we go. So I can't have a negative, so I'm going to divide everything by -1. So I'm going to move this over to here. So I've got 37.5 plus y equals 75. And then I can't have a decimal. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to multiply everything by 2. Now, why 2? Because I know that when I take 37.5 and double it, it's going to be an integer. So I'm going to end up with 37.5 times 2, which is 75. I should have known that. Plus 2y equals 150. And this, my friends, is that, right? I'm going to do one more example with you, and then you're going to get time to work. So here we go. We're going to draw our trend line. Now, our trend line does not have to go through the origin. And if you notice here, you see a break in the graph. That means we jump from 0 to a number, and then we go up by the same amount after that. So here we go. We're going to draw a line through the data. Pretty consistent here. Pretty close. I don't know if I like how that line looks. Let me try this again. There we go. So then what I'm going to do is find my 2 points. I'm going to use this one, which happens to be a point on the graph, and I'm going to use this point. All right. So those are the 2 points I'm going to use. Again, they're corners. They're easy to see. They're easy to pick out the numbers. I can write my numbers as 3, 110 and as 6, 150. All right. So now we have to write this equation in slope-intercept form. Again, pulling back our slope-intercept form skills, we have to solve for m and we have to solve for b. All right. So my m is when I take 150 minus 110 over 6 minus 3 is 40 over 3. So if my m is 40 thirds, I take one of my ordered pairs and I solve for b. 110 is equal to 40 thirds times 3 plus b. 110 is equal to 40 plus b. Subtract 40 from both sides, so 70 equals b. All right. Now I know my b and I know my m, so I can put them all together. Shrink that up a little bit. So then y equals 40 thirds x plus 70. And then to put that in standard form, y equals 40 thirds x plus 70. Again, this is pulling back what we worked on earlier in the year, writing them in standard form, having them with no fractions or decimals, making sure a is positive, a and b are together. In simplest form, all of this is coming full circle. So I'm going to subtract 40 thirds x from both sides. So I end up with negative 40 thirds x plus y equals 70. And I can't have a fraction and I can't have a be negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 birds with 1 stone, as they say, and I'm going to multiply everything by -3. That's going to give me a negative times a negative will make it a positive a, and by multiplying by 3, it gets my number to be an integer. So 40x minus 3y is equal to negative 210. All right, and there we go. So you're going to be working on the 8-2 worksheet. Let me know if you have questions. Bye-bye.